1:36 in the afternoon here, and you might be thinking, your lives are normally at 1 o'clock, and you'd be right. And that's because I was just signed in to the wrong YouTube account. I've just done a live on my own YouTube channel when I should have been here. I should have been here on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. I think I possibly need to increase the meds because I think I might be going mental. So, I'm Connie. I'm a brand ambassador for Dixie Belle Paint, and I don't know what I'm doing, apparently. So, I have just done half an hour or so live on my own YouTube channel when I should have been here. Hi, Teresa. I've just accidentally done a live on my own YouTube channel when I should have been here. That's why I'm late. That's why I'm 40 minutes late. And I didn't realise. No one told me. I kept saying, I'm live on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. I even went on to the Dixie Belle YouTube channel and I couldn't find my live and alarm bells didn't ring. I just thought it was me being weird. I just thought, no, I can't do it because I wanted to try and link the product that I was using on the YouTube video because I get lots of questions afterwards saying, what are you using? Where did we get it? Blah, blah, blah. And I thought, I'll be clever. I'll have my laptop set up separately here and I'll link the product that I'm using and that'll help people out. But no, she couldn't even sign into her own, the correct YouTube channel. So anyway, here we are. Here we are on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. I mean, if you want to watch the live that I've just done on my own YouTube channel, you can find me at Faff Designs. I think I'm actually going insane. Why do I do this? Why do I do stupid things like this? So I'm just going to repeat what I just did. So if you've just watched me live, you probably don't need to watch me again. Hang on a second. There we go. The good thing is, on my own YouTube channel, didn't get any weirdos. So that's always great. Yeah, there are people here that just ignore any comments. That's the best thing to do. Any weird comments, just ignore. I'll try and do it as I go along, but it's not always the easiest thing to do. And seeing me just going, tapping the screen randomly. Anyway, what I am going to do now is I've got my laptop here. Look how professional. I really tried to be professional then. And unfortunately, it backfired because I wasn't even logged on to the correct channel. I mean, what a hot mess express. I've actually got a t-shirt that says hot mess. I should be wearing it because what a disaster. I'm a walking disaster. Right. I might actually be able to find my live now because I am actually live on the correct channel. What an idiot. I'm such an idiot. So, where am I? Where am I? Live. Live, am I here? Yes, I can see me. That's weird. Very weird. I'm just loading up because what I want to do is I want to just bear with. In the comments, no, it's still not letting me. Why? In the comments, you need new inspiration. What projects have you got going on at the moment? Let me see. I'm trying to technology, man, technology. Oh, it's not going to work, is it? Is it? All I wanted to do was put the product that I'm going to be using. I wish I was good with this stuff, but I'm really not. Does this work? I've just typed hello and I can see me. Okay, right. Sorry for that. I'm just figuring out where to put this link. So, I know this is terrible viewing for you, but we'll get onto it in a second. Right, there we go. Okay, so in the comments, I've just typed hello to make sure that I was typing in the correct place. I've also just linked the product that I'm going to be using, which is a primer. I've just done a live on my own channel by accident when I should have in fact been here. I wondered why I didn't have that many viewers, because obviously my YouTube channel is a lot smaller than the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. Idiot. Anyway, we're on the right channel. We are live on the Dixie Belle YouTube channel. I am a Dixie Belle brand ambassador. I'm live here every Tuesday, usually at 1 o'clock when I'm on the right channel, but we're a little bit late today because I've just done a live on the wrong channel. So I'm going to turn this piece around. I'm not going to knock that off because that would just add to the disaster that is already today. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to paint the other end of this. And I'll go through what I just... Oh, electric fireplace mantle. Crikey. Now, the comment that I've just put on hasn't shown up for some reason. Maybe it's because it's a link and it didn't want to show you. It doesn't allow links, maybe. I don't know. Either way, we're going to give up on that. It's very distracting anyway, watching myself. So we'll just turn that off. So you've got brain block. Would appear I have as well, actually. So this this little bookcase, I'm going to spin around so we can paint the other side. That's balanced very precariously there. Oh, such a professional. So this bookcase is actually going to be something that I'll show you in the future. You won't see this finished for a little while because it's going to be for something new. I'm not going to tell you what because I can't, but it's going to be for something new. But this is the piece. It's like a little bookcase with drawers in the top. Very, very common to be able to find these in the UK secondhand. Oh, Zoe, I have to laugh at myself all the time. All the time. This is nothing new. So that's why I'm not fazed by it, because I'm not surprised myself, actually, that I did that. Anyway, I've commented hello in the comments so that for anybody asking where my channel is, you can find me. If you click Faff Designs, it will take you to my YouTube channel. Go and subscribe because I have some funny videos on there, if I do say so myself. I don't take myself seriously in the paint world. I like to have a little bit of a giggle and a joke, usually at my expense. If you haven't gathered from this live, I'm very professional. Connie is a pro. That is not true. Not true at all, as I've just demonstrated pretty well. Also, the reason I've hiked this up here is because my floor is tiles and it's cold. I don't want to sit on that. I don't want to sit on the floor. So I've raised it up. Probably not the best idea because it could tumble at any point, but there we go. So this bookcase, it's going to be for something new. You'll see it in a few weeks. The video will be on my YouTube channel first, so you need to go and subscribe because it is something very new and exciting. And this is the product that I've used first. So it's all about prep today, because last week I had somebody that asked about prep, and then I gave a really long-winded answer about prep and probably didn't answer the question very well. But prep is usually dictated by the finish that is already on your piece and the outcome that you want your piece to look like, if that makes sense. So how you want your piece to finish up, versus what the state of the piece is in currently. So this is in really good condition, this little bookcase. I literally whipped it straight up as soon as I saw it, because these for me sell really well. They're a nice size, nice dimension, and they can take pretty much anything you throw at them. So you could do this a bit crazy, you could put transfer on it, you could do it very plain, you could do it a little bit eclectic, whatever your style is. These lend themselves really well to it. But the problem is, can you see how shiny finish, and it's also quite a warm toned wood, so that's gonna, alarm bells are ringing for that. So as always, I'm gonna just there we go, so I can actually stand up. As always, the first thing I'm going to do is clean it. That's the first thing you need to do prep wise. And I'm sorry if this is going over something that you already know. I know I've got a lot of pro painters on here that watch, but I'm going back to basics because there's also a lot of new people on here that sometimes don't know what the heck I'm talking about. So this is a cleaning product. It's called White Lightning. We also have a cider called that in the UK, by the way. And sometimes I get people going, why are you cleaning your furniture with cider? No, it's a cleaning product. And you can buy this ready mixed in one of these spray tins, cans, bottles, or you can buy the granules in a tub and mix it yourself. Same thing, just two different ways of buying it. So you need to clean it all over with White Lightning, then give it a rinse with clean warm water. I like using a microfiber cloth. Give it a good old rinse, let it dry. That is always your first step, unless your piece is waxed. We're not going to get into that today. But if your piece isn't waxed, that's what you must always start with. Even if the piece has been in your own home, even if you think that piece is clean, it's mine, I know it's clean because I'm a clean person and I don't need to clean it. That's wrong. You do, because even oils off your hands can affect how the paint sticks to the surface. So very often, all you need to do is give your piece a good clean, rinse it, and you'll notice that this, because it's a TSP cleaner, will start to take the shininess from the surface. It's a degreasing and a deglossing cleaner. So you'll notice that it's already started to dull the finish down. Now, sometimes that's enough. Quite often with vintage pieces, that is enough to take the glossiness and the shininess away, and you can go on and paint. With slightly more modern pieces or pieces that aren't wood, there's an extra step that you need to do, or pieces that have got a warm tone to them. So this piece has got two potential problems that I'm going to identify. The first one, it's really shiny, slippery surface. The second being this kind of warm orangey tone to it. If you were to do a neutral colour or a paler colour on top of this, you might experience something that's called bleed through. Bleed through is when the tannins in the finish, in the wood, leach through into your paint and taint the paint a funny colour. Sometimes it goes pinky, sometimes it goes like a yellowy, creamy tinge, sometimes it goes brown. It could happen in patches, it could happen all over. So that's a potential problem with this. Also, it's very shiny. So what you could do is sand that back. But what you're going to have to do anyway is probably prime it to be on the safe side. Rather than sand it then prime it, just prime it. Because Dixie Belle have got a primer that is literally the only primer that you're ever going to need. It's this. It's called Bond Emboss. And traditionally, it's not the right word. In the past, they've always had a couple of different problem-solving primers. One was for the shiny surfaces. One was for preventing bleed through. That's a blood blister, by the way. Hazards of the trade. That was actually done by this tripod that my phone is on now. So that's going in the bin. But this is Bond Emboss. And what they did is they took the primer that was for shiny surfaces, they took the primer that was for bleed through, and they just thought, we'll just make one. We'll just make one badass primer. That's the only primer that you're ever going to need. It's water-based, it doesn't smell, it's easy to use. You can roller it, you can use a paintbrush with it, you can spray it. It comes in 3 colours also. So you've got grey, which is the one I'm going to use today. You've also got clear and white. If you didn't know which one to go for, I would probably go for grey. I nearly said white then. No, I would go for grey. It's the one that I go to the most because it can pretty much handle anything that you put over the top of it. So if you're going to paint in a dark colour, grey is fine. If you're going to paint in a very vibrant colour, grey is good. If you're going to go neutral, grey is also good. It can handle pretty much anything. If you're a person that uses white paints or neutrals all the time, then maybe white. But if you're somebody that mixes it up a little bit with their finishes and colours, then grey is a good all-rounder, good all-round colour to go under the most things. So, like I say, it's water-based, and this will block stains, block odours, and provide adhesion for slippy surfaces. So this opens the door as well. Sorry to keep rambling on, but it really is an excellent product. This opens the door as well for painting lots of surfaces that you might think paint wouldn't grip onto. So if you have something that's made out of metal, out of laminate, out of plastic, out of glass, shiny IKEA furniture that already has like a factory finish on it, and you think, I don't know how long my painted finish would last if I was to paint that, use this bad boy first and you can paint all of those things. And I have painted all of those things. I have tried it because I was like, it's got to fail at something. It can't be that good of a product, but it really is. I have painted a metal IKEA locker. I've painted plastic with it. I've painted laminate with it. Honestly, so good. Bond Embossed took cigar smell from vintage sheet music cabinet. Yes, so the other thing I touched on is that it blocks odours, which is really good. And this is when the clear one comes into its own, because if you've got the inside of a piece that is particularly stinky, because we all know vintage furniture does get a little bit stinky and musty sometimes, or like it could have cigar smell or whatever, then you can use the Bond Embossed primer. You could use it in clear if you didn't want the inside of your piece to be a colour. If you didn't want to paint it, you can use the clear. That will lock in the smell of the piece without losing the kind of integrity of the wood grain. Or if you wanted to distress your piece, and you wanted to see the original finish underneath, or you wanted to distress it back to the wood, you can use the clear. That way you're going to guarantee there's no bleed through and you get the adhesion, but you still get to distress it and see the wood through as well. Yes, the mantle clock, but it smells like cigarette smoke. This will absolutely work. So I'm going to paint the side of this. I've just done the other side on my own YouTube channel by mistake. I wonder why it won't let me comment. I wonder why it won't let me link the product. It also comes in, you can get it in littler tubs than this, and bigger, I believe. Can you? I always just use this size, but I usually use grey. I've just done a white piece. Don't ask. Okay, I've just done, well, it's neutral, but I use grey underneath it. And what grey does, it bridges the gap. Obviously this is quite dark and red. Grey obviously bridges the gap in between a lighter colour and the dark finish. But if you are somebody that uses white all the time, if you're doing a lot of farmhousey finishes or use white and cream, obviously you can use the white version of this, but I just love the grey. It's ace. It's ace. No, it won't let me comment a link. So that idea was absolutely useless. I thought I'd be really professional, set my laptop up here. I can link the products that I'm talking about, which will take you straight to the Dixie Belle website, to the products that I'm talking about, and problem solved. But no, it won't let me. But yeah, you can get this in 8 ounce, 16 ounce and 32 ounce. So this is the 16. That's the 16. That's the one that I always get. The 8 ounce is $15.95. The 16 is $23.95. And the 32 is $40.95. That's in American. I can do that. I'm very good with time conversion and also now currency, it would appear. No, I'm not. I've just got the Dixie Belle website up there. So this is going to provide adhesion to this shiny surface. It's also going to lock any stains in, although I'm not using a particularly dark colour on this. And I'm going to use one of Dixie Belle's synthetic brushes. This is the mini, and somebody just commented on the live that I did on the wrong channel, how do you clean your brushes after you've used a primer, and that they use a chip brush for primers. And you could do that. You could absolutely use an inexpensive brush to apply your primer with, and then either just use that brush for primers or throw it away, because chip brushes are kind of meant to be a little bit more disposable than something like this, which is more of an investment brush. However, the problem with chip brushes is that it doesn't always leave the best finish. So I like to use chip brushes for a little bit of like a textured finish, or to apply waxes, because waxes apply really nicely with a natural bristle brush. So I wouldn't use I wouldn't use a chip brush to apply a primer, just because I want a nice smooth finish with this. So I do use my good synthetic brushes, because they get a far superior finish than what a chip brush will. But the thing that I always make sure I do is clean it really well afterwards. And I always use scrubby soap. So the person on the live asked what I use to clean my brushes, and it's this. I use this every single day. I've got a supply of these in my cupboard. Obviously my favourite flavour is green, because if you know me, you know I like green. Not just because the colour of it, but it smells so good. It's so fresh and zingy. But these are basically a bar of soap with a scrubby inside it. So you've got a scrubby side, you've got the bar of soap, and as you use the soap, it just leaves you the scrubby in the end, but they last so long. And that is what I use to clean my brushes every single time, whether I've used a primer, whether I've used a wax product. That will also clean your brushes if you use an oil-based product. So if you've used gilding wax or Big Mama's butter, you can clean your brushes with that, because it's got essential oils in it, and oil removes oil. So I have tried it on brushes that have had gold gilding wax on, and it eats away at the oil-based product, and that means that you don't have to throw your brushes away after you've used an oil-based product, or clean them with white spirit, which stinks. These scrubby soaps, they do work beautifully. I clean my hands with these. I even have been known to use them on my dog, because they've got natural ingredients, and my dog is a massive fan of rolling in anything disgusting. So I have washed her with one of those, and she smelled an absolute delight afterwards. Now, I don't know if you can officially wash a dog with scrubby soap, but I did. I'm just saying, it's a multi-purpose product. I clean all my sinks with it. It cleans up beautifully. I wash my hands with it at the end of the day, because as you can see, I've only primed the other side of this, and I am covered in primer. How do I do that? I don't know. The other thing that I have got, I'm a bit of a... I do this. I do this a lot. So I'm currently painting something in peony, and I put my brushes in a bag. Now, that's great, because it means I haven't got to keep washing brushes out. I've had to do 3 coats of peony, and that would mean 3 brushes to wash out if I'd, wash them in between. But what I do is put them in a bag, seal the bag, and make sure no air can get in. Generally, they're okay, but what you will find is that sometimes around the edge here, you'll get a tide mark of the colour that you use, where the paint has dried out on the bristles. And scrubby soap every time works an absolute charm. I'm the first one to admit that I'm not the best at looking after my brushes. I'm a bad brush owner, and I admit to that, but scrubby soap has saved me on numerous occasions. I've also cleaned a brush that's hardened with paint on it, and it's worked. It's a miracle product. It's so good. So back to this. Once I can do this, because it's cold in here, so this hasn't started to dry, but once I have laid my paint on, there's also, what's that on there? We don't want that. Once I've got my paint on the surface and I've got an even thin coat, what I do is hold my brush at the very end. I'm quite heavy-handed with brushes. I'm a bit stabby. I'm a bit like, I hold my brushes here and... But when you lay your paint off, so this isn't a self-leveling, this is a self-leveling product. So it will lie super smooth on its own. But what I like to do, if I am going to go for a really smooth finish, and I don't want any texture in my finish at all, what I like to do is just hold my paintbrush at the end and then just lay the paint off all in one direction. So I'm not going up and down, I'm just going, in this instance, top to bottom. So I just choose one direction to continuously put my brushes in. And that way you get a really nice, smooth, even coat of the primer. And I do that with paint as well. And then what you need to do is at least 2 coats of Bond Emboss. So if I am using it for adhesion purposes, for shiny, slippery surfaces, I'll always do 2. If I'm using it for bleed through, it's kind of... depends on the piece. If I've got something that's very heavy bleeder and I've done 2 coats already and I can still see a bit of bleed through, I might do a 3rd. But I very, very rarely have to do 3 coats of Bond Emboss. I usually only ever have to do 2. And then the secret with Bond Emboss is leaving it to dry for the sufficient amount of time. So on the jar, it tells you to leave it for 24 hours. And that is because it's a water-based product. You've got to let it dry down and do its job. If you try and put paint over that any sooner than 24 hours, it's gonna stop doing its job, because you might reactivate it with the paint. It might start pulling the stains through. It might not have had time to dry onto the shiny surface. It won't do its job, basically. So don't be tempted to do it any sooner than 24 hours. So this will get primed today. I'll leave this to dry and then it'll be ready to paint from basically the time that I've done the 2nd coat. I'll be honest, I'll probably won't get to paint it for a couple of days anyway, so that's good. But this primer, Dixie Belle did a test on Sharpie. So they put Sharpie on a drawer and they did the primer over the top, 2 coats of the primer, and it stopped the Sharpie from bleeding through. So it is a really good product. You've got to leave it to dry for 24 hours. Otherwise you risk it basically not doing its job. Yeah, I put my brushes in bags too, then into the fridge, and they won't go dry. No, they don't. My workshop is basically a fridge because I'm in the UK and the heating is not great in my little workshop. So especially in the winter, it doesn't get warm, particularly unless I turn the heater on and then I get told off because it's expensive to run. So it's basically like being in a fridge in here. That's why I'm not on the floor, because it's so cold. And that's it. So hopefully that was helpful in terms of prep. I'm hoping. Covered a few things there, but as I said on last week, prep is very much dictated by the piece that you are working on and the finish that you want. So not all pieces need priming. Everything will need a clean, but not all pieces need priming. It is a problem-solving primer. What I will say, though, is that you won't ever regret doing a little bit of prep, but you might regret not doing it. So if in doubt, a couple of coats of that. It literally takes a few minutes to apply. It's super easy to put on. Leave it for 24 hours, and then you know you are covered, because the amount of times that I've done it before in the past, I've been painting over 8 years, and I thought, that won't bleed through, I'll be absolutely fine, and it's bled through, and I've had to do it again. So you will never regret doing a little bit of prep work. If in doubt, do a bit more. That's what I would say. But like I say, there are pieces out there that you don't need to, and part of it comes with just a little bit of experience and knowing what is likely to bleed through and what isn't. But there are, like I say, there's the products out there that you can get that will help you with your prep. So I hope that helps without going into deep diving into way deeper than that with prep work. But just keeping it nice and simple and easy. Give it a clean. If you think it needs it for adhesion purposes or bleed through, whack a bit of Bond Emboss on. Wait for 24 hours and you are good to go. If you want to see anything else in terms of prep, I go into quite a bit more detail about about wax stripping. So stripping a piece that is waxed before you can paint it. I do that on my YouTube channel. I usually go through the prep of whatever I'm painting on that particular project. So I normally sort of go over that as well. So like I say, it is very much dependent on the piece of furniture, the products that you're using, and the finish that you want. So I hope that helped. True, prep is key to success. That's why we know you are a pro. Well, possibly, but this live shows that I'm not a pro with technology. Technology is not my friend. It's not my friend at all. Just when I thought I had it. You know, I've been doing this. How long have I been doing lives for? 5 years. Still managed to go live on the wrong YouTube channel. But there we go. 2 lives in 1 day. Mission accomplished. I hope you have a fabulous rest of the day. I will be back here at the correct time next week. I won't be live on my own YouTube channel. I'll be back here at 1 o'clock my time next week, which I believe is 8 a.m. EST. 8, 9, 10, 12. Yeah, that's right. Quick maths. But have a fabulous day and I will see you next time. Hope that's helped. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.